Railroad Preserver 2000 here, back again. Presently adjusting my phone to make sure I can get the entire screen in the shot for once, since it's usually cut off at the top or the bottom. Yeah, I'm back on Minecraft. This is Survival Multiplayer Episode 5, though as you can see, the server's kind of lonely. I wonder why. Anyways, aside from that, I'm also in my Discord server in the voice chat. As you can see, I changed my Discord server's owner role over to Kevin. Mainly because, well, for one, I wasn't doing much of anything on the server anyway, so what was the point of having the server owner thing? Also, added some new photos to my photo archive for Series 7. So that's new. That's just from Skull Shoals. I've got a bunch of other stuff backlogged from that day trip. Anyway, that's all to come on YouTube, but this stream is first. So yeah, first off on the to-do list, so to speak, I need to try and continue work on the station I'm building in Oakville, which is this, and oh dear God, I am about to die. Okay, I need to nom on some melons real quick. Why not? Imagine that, a seal eating watermelon. Ugh, I don't think that would be very healthy for them, actually. Anyways, let me get the volume up so you guys can hear here, because there we go. Yeah, so some updates with this station. As you can see, it's mostly built for right now, but originally it actually extended out to about right here, but the two main residents of Oakville, Blue Skull and Sib, had me push it back because it was detracting from the spawn. Their words, not mine. I don't think there was anything wrong with it because it's cost me to lose 2 windows here, which is kind of ridiculous, not gonna lie. But the only solace is I guess now I could potentially just build this out to be like the ticket area for the station. I could dig this out more and build the ticket office part in here, and have a staircase for employees to go down there. And then back here, well, actually, no, I can't do that staircase thing because the tunnel goes here. Now, this was all built by Sib and Blue Skull. The station part is something I'm building. And the only good thing about it being pushed inside the mountain is now I could potentially dig all this out ahead of me and make another platform on the opposite side. I don't think it'll be this big, but to be perfectly honest, I don't know. They wanted a main station, so this is what I was able to do on short notice. Though, since I can't bring any outside materials I already have in the server to this town, it's made building it a whole lot more difficult, if I'm being honest. I mean, come on. How is bringing glass into Oakville cheating, huh? I mean, seriously, come on now. But now, the idea I have for the station is there's going to probably be either 2x2 skylights or 2x6 skylights in the ceiling here, though I haven't decided on how that'll go. Plus, as you can see, it's not even finished, and I haven't really gotten around to putting in the lights yet. And I'm thinking the lights will be between these here, or I might just, well, no, that would detract from the thing. Yeah, so I'm thinking the lights will be where the exposed diorite is. That's what this is here. But, yeah. Hang on, I gotta axe that real quick. There we go. Yeah, first off, I need a ton of iron, because otherwise I can't make the lanterns for this. See, so I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 lanterns for this part. And debating on where I put the staircase, which will probably be somewhere in the middle here, will determine what else I do with the station. This is just a work staircase. I'm going to destroy this and fill it in, and then fill this in. This is my sort of makeshift quarry where I'm getting... where I did get a ton of the granite I used for the floors and stuff. That's what all this was, and then I've been mining out the remaining diorite vein that's here. Don't ask me where that goes. I have no damn clue. I just know if it'll suck you down and you will die. Or I will die because I don't really have much armor. I'm using iron. Let me see. So there's my remaining supplies. So I could extend this and build a massive thing underground if I wanted to. Could even potentially make a spur that goes to... I mean, I could even make a spur that could connect to this, because I want to build a main station for the Minecraft server. I can actually show you guys where that project will be right now. And this is now my third station build on the server. This here is going to be where the main station goes. Really, the only issue I'm having with this is making it symmetrical. Once I get that done, I can start building a proper station. The reason I say symmetrical is in terms of the platforms. I want all the tracks to be... It'd be a single track station where everything would stub end right here. Like, I'm thinking you would go out into the server world this way, right? So that would be heading south. But if you were to come in going north, you would arrive at spawn. You'd be at the outskirts, but you'd arrive at spawn. Unless I could ask permission to build a much smaller depot right there in spawn and a small spur to directly serve it. Like, there might be just one through track, and that just takes you into spawn and whatnot. So, and I'm thinking the station would be something similar in size to a depot I saw at Tybee Island, which is the only which, fun fact, is the only surviving remnant of a railroad that once ran there until about the 1930s. That was destroyed thanks to the automobile. Had that not have happened, the railroad might still be there today, though that's just me. At present, though, I can't decide if I want the station tracks to be above ground, like running along the ground or elevated above it or dug down below it. Most of the stations, the two stations I've built so far, have everything below ground. And I know Ribbit and them want me to build everything underground, but to be perfectly honest, I think an elevated rail line would be much better and honestly much more interesting, because then you could build stuff branching off of it, kind of like New York. Let me go back to my base and sleep. But yeah, aside from this, life-wise, everything's going okay for the most part. Yeah, as far as life stuff goes, everything's been going all right for the most part. I'm just busy with school and whatnot. Speaking of which, this stream is not going to last for long. I might do it for maybe an hour or two, but once 8 o'clock hits, I'm going to try and resume studying for a test that we have to do in marine engine technology. Yeah, funny story about the test. See, it was originally supposed to be done, excuse me. It was originally supposed to be scheduled for Tuesday, but due to, I think, 2 different meetings that the students and teachers had to attend, the test was moved to tomorrow. So I still studied. I read the chapter, which I believe is in our Introduction to Outboard Systems, or ITOS. I read out of it. It was over, I believe, Chapter 3, Outboard Electrical Systems. And I think it was, I believe, 4 to 5 sections in that one chapter. I don't remember. I just know it took an hour for me to read it. I started reading it at... excuse me one second. Sorry about that. I was losing my voice. Yeah, I started reading the book on... or the book section at around 8 o'clock Monday night, and I finished reading it about, I believe, 9:15 or 9:23, somewhere around there, so a little over an hour, which wasn't really bad, to be honest. Also, I kind of expanded our farm over here in Oakville. And I figured, why not build it under the house? And it utilizes a flooded cave that's still here. It's just buried under all this. But I use that as its water source. In fact, you know what? You know what? I know what I'm going to do. Going to make this a makeshift infinite water source. I'm just going to dig it down so that, yeah. Yeah, in terms of the cave, I'm digging it out slowly, but I don't know, I really don't know when Thunderbolt's going to come back, and I just realized I had a freaking bucket on me the entire time. But I digress. Yeah, I know Thunderbolt's busy, so I really don't know when he's going to come back, but... Well, this is an issue. But, yeah. Another update here is I made a little flower biome right here and planted a cherry blossom. And I have beehives, I just got to get some bees. I just don't know if anybody has any. I might ask, I might be able to ask, what's his name, oh god. I hate when I can't do it. I hate when my brain decides to not work. I may be able to ask Blue Skull about potentially getting 2 bees just to start. Because I know they've got like a beehive thing all around the town. Sorry, I can't speak properly today for some reason. Oh, a noob plays YouTube joined. Oh, and I also moved our chickens down here too. I forgot to mention that. Well, this is a problem. Oh, there we go. Now it decides to work. Alright, there we go. So we got our infinite water source there, which is still spring-fed, which is nice. Mineral benefits all the way. And we got our copper. Yeah, funnily enough, I was going to use the copper on the inside of the station, but I decided against it. There goes that. So, I'm sorry, guys. My mind is just not working properly today. Oh, there's 2 lanterns I can use. I guess I used the iron I found. Great. And this leads to the, and this here leads to the station that I'm building. In fact, you can see on the map thing that came with this version of Vanilla that I'm playing on Technic, you can see the rail tunnel right now. Personally, since there's no water, I could have dug it more or less straight further and then turn left. But I digress. Also, I don't know why this is sunk down. That could be raised up. And clearly, as you can see, track laying is just dependent on time and when time, materials, and people are available. But yeah, I still need glass for these underside skylights or windows. I debated on doing my old school, my normal tactic of putting, you know, as much as trapdoors in the floor to represent glass block, but I decided not to for this time around. But I might change my mind. Joey TDM, what's up, man? But yeah, if you're curious, the lighting is going to be like this. So that's 2 lanterns, another, I think, 15 or so more to go, or however many I stated last time. Oh my god, ah! I can't understand you.
I'm sorry. Okay. For some reason, the Star Spangled Banner keeps playing at full volume every time I join a Discord server.
Check your soundboard. I think you'll find it's because you have it as your soundboard thing for whenever you join a server.
Which is stupid. I need to figure that out. Maybe I should turn. Okay, there we go. Alright, another thing. I also got a new microphone.
I can tell. It sounds nice. I know I say this is survival. You broke up. What?
Alright.
For once, I wish I could find some dang minerals in this vein.
I caught the new Amtrak Phase 7 Genesis locomotives.
Nice.
Both 174 and 82. And oh my god, I'm liking the Phase 7. It's so much better than just seeing Phase 5 everything.
What?
Huh?
You broke. Ah!
Yeah, but to be honest, like, seeing Phase 5 is alright, it's boring all the time, because you always just see that things, with the exception of Heritage, but when you have something new, then it just gives more variety.
Mm-hmm. For once, I wish there was a sand area patch near this place, but I'm not seeing any. Well, there's the bit on the beach, but that wouldn't be good.
I'm excited to see what's in store for this year, because I'm going to be facing a lot of trains for sure this year.
Why is it that the western states just have more railfan stuff going on? It's like Georgia, I'll put it bluntly, Georgia, I think at the moment, Georgia only has, I think, 2 operational locomotives in the state. One's at Tifton, which is, I believe, a Vulcan Ironworks narrow gauge engine, and the other is a Glover engine that was restored privately, albeit without... You get what I mean. There's a Glover that was restored privately, but it's not in its original as-built appearance. It was originally a saddle tanker, but they took the saddle tank off. To be perfectly honest, I think I ran into the guy that rebuilt it in Kennesaw when another Glover was found and being moved to Florida. If I'm being honest, what?
Sorry.
No, what were you saying?
No, I'm just trying to figure something out right now. Audio.
Just gonna bonk all this.
So you can continue.
I was just gonna say there was a. Yeah, I mean, Georgia does not have any big steam engines running anywhere. Hell, if I'm being honest, the only large engine we had running was Atlanta and West Point 290, and it only had a chance to run for, I think, less than 2 to 3 years, and then wham, never ran again. And now, thanks to all the Class 1s being anti-steam down here, there's like nowhere to run it. Honestly, I'm surprised all the Class 1s and Amtrak just don't come out and just openly tell all these organizations and whatnot, oh, we're not going to let you run any of these steam engines, even if they're recently restored or have all this tech on them, because we consider them too dangerous to run or too pollutant or something. I mean, to be perfectly honest, it just seems like that's what they're trying to say without just openly saying it. Yet, time and time again, whenever a group restores a steam engine, they show these idiots every single time that those locomotives can still do the job and do it fine without any assistance. Technically, Joey, I believe the Virginia Central Railroad or some railroad out there in Buckingham, if I'm not mistaken, I think they have it so 611 can run on the Buckingham branch out there, right? That's former C&O trackage. I don't think out of or through Staunton, I believe. Staunton or Stanton, Virginia. I don't know how they pronounce it. Anyways. Hang on, dude. I had my speakers muted. What did you say?
It's the Buckingham branch is former Chesapeake and Ohio and Northwestern US. So basically both railroads. Because they own tracks, so mostly 611's been running on the N&W side of the Buckingham branch, which is like out in the western part of Virginia, and the eastern part is Chesapeake and Ohio. But I'm guessing they're gonna run the entire line. Actually, they're just trying to get it started on.
I mean, if I'm being honest, it's at least the state's made a point to give 611 its own line to run on. I mean, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, a rail line near me that I think would do well as a tourist operation would be the old Bishop to Madison branch that technically, believe it or not, runs all the way from Lula to Madison, because the railroad is still intact all the way to Lula. Like I know this because I've seen trains running on there. To put it bluntly, the rail line from Athens going to Nicholson, Gainesville, you get what I mean. The line from Athens going all the way to Lula is still intact and actually used by Norfolk Southern. I know the Athens Branch Railroad, part of the Hartwell system, they use it from, I believe, Nicholson to into downtown Athens, where they still have active track. But once you get towards UGA and all, the track has been disconnected due to construction and due to a bridge having to be torn down due to damage from a truck strike. And why a lot of people and why a lot of people online are assuming the line's abandoned or whatnot. Let me tell you.
Trains that run out there.
What?
Is it just because there's not many trains that run out there?
Well, in terms of the line running from Athens to Hawkinsville, that part has been out of service for the last 5 years. But I know the person who owns it, and from what they've told me or from what I've heard, and he can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but once everything in Athens is straightened out, like once the right-of-way is rebuilt and the bridge is rebuilt, I have heard that they intend to try and start getting the ball rolling on reopening the entire Bishop to Madison branch. It's going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to take a lot of work to get back up and running. But here's the thing. As far as I know, the track is still intact all the way from Bishop to Madison. It's just overgrown. So,
Yeah.
and since the tree growth and whatnot has pulled the rails up and out of alignment, I mean, it's all. I mean, to put it bluntly, the line's going to have to be completely rebuilt from the ground up anyway. Because,
Obviously, because
well, the rail, from what I've seen while walking the line and documenting it in a few sections where it's accessible, a lot of the rail on that line is around anywhere from 80 or 90 years old to over 100 years old. Like, I think I've found Scranton steel rail from 1897 and 98 still spiked down just past Farmington, because the track originally the track was still passable right up into Farmington, because I think there was still one or two industries Norfolk Southern was using at the time. But once they closed, they just left that part of the line derelict. And you can actually see where they had made a proper end of track in Farmington. I actually walked past the crossing, past the Farmington Depot, and you can see where NS dumped a mound of dirt over the right-of-way and unbolted some track in front of it. So they made a point. So it was clear that they intended to only use it right until right there in Farmington. Then they didn't intend to run it past there. The only other place the track is passable past Farmington is right at the city limit sign for Bishop. And that's only used for car storage from what I've seen. Right when you get to the city limit sign, it goes right back to being overgrown and unusable. And it's more or less like that for about 18 miles. From Madison back to Bishop, where it's still somewhat passable. To be honest, I tried contacting that friend of mine who owns the railroad and asked if maybe I could go out with some bush clippers and start trying to clear away some saplings that are growing up against the rails along the passable part of the right-of-way, because, if they're not removed now, they're going to basically make it much more difficult to get the railroad worked on in terms of getting equipment down to Bishop and whatnot. It would make it a lot more difficult. Could they use high rail trucks? Yeah, but in terms of proper full-size maintenance of way equipment, I mean, if they wait 15, 20 years to do that, the line's going to be completely overgrown all the way from Watkinsville to Madison, or Watkinsville to Bishop.
Not to mention the trackage would eventually start to shift around.
Well, yeah, and I've seen that. And I've seen that on the Bishop to Madison branch. I have seen where trees have literally pried the rails up with their roots. I've seen that. And, I mean, I know they did some work in Bishop in terms of removing a switch stand I photographed that had a tree growing through it, or through the track. They actually cut the actual stand mechanism out so they could use it elsewhere. So I'm actually glad I photographed that. But other than that, I haven't seen anything new going on. But, I mean, to be honest, I do want to try and contact that friend of mine and just ask permission to, basically do my own documentation on the line and do a little bit of, volunteer maintenance. At least trimming saplings down and whatnot so they can't grow back,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because, well, better to, help out with the project rather than just wait for a real guy to do it. Because,
the main thing I want to do is to make sure people realize that line is still considered active, even if no trains run on it for another 5 years. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not saying do any major track work right now. The plant growth hasn't gotten that bad. It hasn't gotten that bad enough yet. As far as saplings go, you could trim all of them right now with the same kind of trimmers you use for your garden bushes and whatnot.
Oh yeah, because I used to do that with my grandma before she moved to an apartment.
Exactly. So you know what I'm getting at here.
Yeah. So just to make sure that the line's active.
Well, I just don't want some idiots in Athens pretty much trying to make an illegal move or something to turn the rail line into a trail, even though they never got permission. Because apparently, I mean, I don't know. I've heard stories of that sort of thing happening before. I don't remember where,
Didn't that happen with the Virginia Transportation Museum or something like that? You told me the story that some idiots who ran a county decided that it was a good idea to rip up the track.
Are you talking about Noblesville, Indiana? That was due to a lawsuit that pretty much destroyed that entire museum. The whole thing was liquidated, shut down, and whatnot. And they did lose some equipment that I think was beyond saving, but there was a SW1. There was an SW1 that. What?
I think one of the pieces was Nickel Plate Road 587. Is that true? Or something like that?
No. 587 was removed from the museum early. It was removed, and I think it's now under private ownership, though. From what I've heard, though, the private owner wants the engine to be restored and run again, but even if they get the thing restored, it's going to have the same problem as 2716, 1361, and all these other locomotives. Where are they going to run? I mean, yeah, even if you get them restored and you get the main class one's permission, they're not going to let it run everywhere. And hell, you'd still have to deal with Amtrash pretty much saying, oh, you got to do this, this, and this, or we're not going to let you run the engine. You know what? This is what happens when you have an
Amtrak who owns those tracks anyway.
Well, I don't remember exactly. I mean, I'll admit I haven't read up on that, but if I'm not mistaken, there was some sort of operating stipulation where the only way you can run an excursion or something was you had to have Amtrak supporting it or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because I could be completely wrong entirely. So, yes, and my word, Gendrax did a great job on this barn.
I just know some of the reason why Amtrak is doing that because it was actually most of the time it was back in the day when the company was ran by CEO Richard Anderson, who legit banned steam locomotives from running, like with Amtrak support, and also and he was planning to ban private car service for Amtrak.
Oh, wait a second! Isn't this that guy? This is the guy that was a former airline owner, right?
Yeah.
There's your answer right there. There's your answer.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what happens when you no. That's what happens when you try to have an airline CEO run a railroad. They just make it as bad as the airline, if not worse.
And not to mention, that's also happening with Norfolk Southern right now. They're trying to get Jim Barber Jr., a UPS guy, to run Norfolk Southern. And I was literally flipping, and I said, there's no way that no one is going to allow that. Because
hey, man, you'd be surprised. You know, you'll be surprised. As long as somebody waves a dollar sign up, I'll put it bluntly. All you got to do is wave a dollar sign up and you can get an idiot to run everything. And you'll get the expected results because of that. I'm sorry for being, well, pardon my French, an asshole, but it's the truth.
I know.
I mean, plus, Norfolk Southern right now, if I'm being honest, and, I mean, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion, Norfolk Southern ended up becoming the new Penn Central due to...
to be honest, you're actually correct about it. Their management is, like, as much as I would like to say, the management on how it's being... Like, the way that the company's being managed is literally exactly how Penn Central was. There's old guys who want to railroad this way, and then there's other guys that want to railroad this way. And that's how Penn Central was.
Is it bad that I kind of wish Wick Mormon would come back to NS and just get everything straightened out? I know he's helping with the East Broad Top, but let me tell you something. If he can do that good with the East Broad Top, imagine what he could do if he came back to NS and just stuck around a while, you know?
Yeah.
I mean...
Because he did help the company a little bit.
And he also is who brought back... And he also managed to bring back the STEAM program for a little while. Maybe not as long as the original, but he still managed to bring it back, which is something nobody thought would happen again after 1994.
And I think that's all part of the reason why 611 is back up and running again.
Oh yeah, you know, had that STEAM program thing Had 21st Century Steam not happened, I highly doubt 4501 or 611 would be running today. I mean, maybe they would be, but all that's just speculation. I mean, truly, it is.
Plus, another thing. Even after the Norfolk Southern Steam program ended, the Roanoke refuses to take 611 out of service from China. They want to keep her running. That's the biggest problem. They don't have enough places to run her besides, the
Buckingham branch.
You said,
well, Buckingham branch, North Carolina Transportation Museum, and the Strasburg Railroad. But to be honest, I mean, to be perfectly honest, Georgia has not seen a major steam locomotive come through here since the program ended. And I know this because when Norfolk Southern ran the program, they ran 1218 and 611 and a few other engines through some towns I've since visited, Chocoa, Georgia being one of them. Hell, even in 2012 or so, they ran 765 through there.
Yeah.
I wish I could have asked off for school when that showed up.
I mean, I really want to see 765 do more excursions again. The only place he's been limited to are the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Road in Ohio and the Indiana Rail Experience in Indiana and Michigan.
Well, no, those are short lines. And to be perfectly honest,
Exactly.
Well, the reason they're more open to steam is, number one, it's good PR for them. Two, it brings them more revenue, if the revenue is even split between the short line and the excursion operator. And three, most of the time these short lines are run by guys who genuinely do real railroading still. They're not some guys in suits trying to please shareholders. They're doing it because they genuinely care about their clients and they genuinely care about doing a good job. In fact, when my mom and them asked me why I didn't go and work for the railroad, I mean, what I just said a few seconds ago is what I wish I could have told them back in 2021. I mean, I've said this to my grandparents, though. If I was going to work for the railroad, I'd work for either a short line or a museum. And for a museum, it'd be a volunteer.
I plan to work for the Iowa Interstate as soon as I graduate. I plan to go work on as an engineer from Silvis, Illinois to Chicago.
Hey, if you can, ask them about potential. Hey, and if I'm not mistaken, they own those two Chinese locomotives, right? The two 210Os or something?
They do. I documented both of them.
Have you... Here's my advice. The next time they have an excursion in your area and they stop, just talk to the train crew and ask them questions about, how you could get involved with the railroad and, more importantly, how you could get involved in terms of working on those engines. I mean, if you've got really, here's the thing. While it is good to have a resume, it's also good to show your interest and just how interested you are in something to the right people,
Exactly, because to be honest, I think that working for Iowa Interstate is better than working for BNSF because, let's face it, even though BNSF never got precision scheduled railroading, they still have PS management that's still obsessed with PS.
You broke up a bit.
The company doesn't. Yeah, they're still a bit broken up, including, if you remember, the high policy they had with some. Do you know what I mean? Have you seen those videos when the NSF workers plan to go on strike?
Yeah, I heard about that, and really, that's a strike that should have happened. I don't care what people my parents' age say. I mean,
I literally kept writing to myself, strike already. I'm tired of these companies doing torture art.
Well, it's not just the railroads. Hey, you know what? I'll just put it bluntly. It isn't just the railroads doing this anymore. All the companies are doing it. I mean, well, welcome to the modern day John D. Rockefeller. Welcome to the modern day Standard Oil. Welcome to the modern day robber barons. We are once again back in a monopolistic state where a few companies now control everything, from rail to planes to food to everything. Only this time we don't have a Teddy Roosevelt to break up the monopolies anymore. And now the monopolies get around that law by calling themselves, quote-unquote, corporations. Yes, I know you can see that quote unquote in the shadow, gentlemen.
And
I'm just making that clear. I love it. I did this stream to play Minecraft, and now we're just pretty much discussing everything from railroads to politics. It's funny how those things coincide.
I literally talk about this, especially when like these political things. Sure.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, yeah, people can do protests. Yeah, they can do petitions. I mean, yeah, people can do online protests and petitions and whatnot, but the only way you're going to make a genuine form of change is if you got everybody together and pretty much marched on Washington like Martin Luther King did. Though you'd have to do it, though you'd have to make your group a hell of a lot bigger than what he did, and it'd have to be for more than just one issue, you know? Because right now, right now, everybody with all the wealth and all the power and whatnot, I mean, I'll put it bluntly, they've pretty much gotten away with whatever they wanted to do, and all of us are out in the cold.
What's sad about these things that you've just mentioned, nowadays people are getting shot. Remember the time when the people invaded the Capitol just because Trump didn't get the election?
Oh,
That's
God.
Stuff I'm talking. Yeah, I know. It gets chaotic.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I mean, regarding the whole monopoly busting thing and all that, that's not a one-side issue. It's not, a red versus blue issue. It's not a racial issue. It's nothing like that. This is an issue that's mutual for pretty much everybody, regardless of political sides, regardless of beliefs, whatever. I mean, right now, all the corporations pretty much, right now, and this is just my opinion, but right now, the corporations, everybody from railroads to food manufacturers to plane manufacturers, etc., they've pretty much got everybody in Washington pretty much in their pocket. To where now, they no longer work for the people. It's the other way around, and it shouldn't be that way. And the only way it'll ever end is if all the little guys, like you, me, our parents, etc., go to Washington and pretty much tell them straight up, look, we're fed up with this. We don't want to keep dealing with it anymore. It's time to change some things. And understand, here's the thing. The only way that will work is, number one, protesting for it like Dr. King did with his March on Washington during the Civil Rights Movement. Number two, make sure no idiots try to cause any drama or violence. Because that's honestly, that's what's given protesting and activism a bad name. Because, I'll put it bluntly. There's two types of activists, okay? There's the idiots you see on the news, and then there's the people who you don't see or hear about that actually do it right, do it respectfully, and actually get positive results, But, there's still a lot of good stuff that goes on regarding all that, but everybody from the media to just even amateur journalists choose to report on, the crazy stuff or the bad stuff because it gets more clicks, which is ridiculous. It shouldn't be that way. If I'm not mistaken, the definition of a journalist, if I'm not mistaken, was somebody who tried to report the truth with honesty and without bias. But now, it seems that code of conduct has gone by the board, which, again, is something that shouldn't have happened, but it has. True.
Hopefully one of these days.
True.
One of these days that does happen.
If it happens, it's going to be after I'm dead and gone, man, because it pretty much took 100 years to break up the monopolies and all, or close to 100 years, and now, less than 100 years after that, not only are we seeing new monopolistic companies and whatnot, but we're even seeing child labor coming back, something that only existed in that kind of work environment.
That shouldn't be.
But it is. There's plenty of videos people have done exposing it. There's plenty of news articles exposing it. And yet the laws... Well, yeah, and yet the laws regarding that are just being ignored, which again should not have happened, but it has.
That's the same thing with railroads. They're choosing to ignore safety programs made by the FRA.
Oh yeah, and they're not only choosing to ignore that, they're just trying to. Well, I mean, I'll put it bluntly. They're doing what a lot of other East Coast railroads did during the 60s and 70s, which is defer maintenance to save money, but at the end of the day, doing that just kills your freaking railroad because I mean, if you defer maintenance, it's like somebody with cancer. You can either treat it or ignore it. With railroad maintenance, if you ignore it, well, like cancer, it'll spread and the decay will spread and spread aggressively, and then by the time you realize how bad it's gotten, it's too late to treat it, and it's more or less terminal. That's what happened with Penn Central. I mean, that's what happened with Penn Central. It's what happened to a lot of older Class 1 railroads that no longer exist. I mean, the only reason the East Coast still even has a rail network is due to Conrail. Had Conrail not have been formed or had it have failed, I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think there'd be any railroads on the East Coast. You might have one or two, but you wouldn't have any. Period.
You wouldn't have like a big Class 1 railroad that we see nowadays. Like, if we were, like, for example, Norfolk Southern and CSX, they could have, like, if it wasn't, to be honest, if it wasn't for Conrail, I don't think we would see Norfolk Southern that.
Well, no.
I think they would be, like, they wouldn't be as big as they are today.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I mean, I'll just say it like this. To be perfectly honest, I feel like there shouldn't be 4 or 5 Class 1s or however many there are now thanks to the mega merger that is Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern.
CPKC merger, yeah. And now Canadian National being a petty rival over it, which I know. They're trying to buy out Iowa Northern, I believe it is, and I've heard rumors that they're trying to buy Iowa Interstate, but from what I believe, Iowa Interstate does not.
Iowa Interstate doesn't want to join them?
Yeah, because the way their company manages, they are pretty good. You know,
well, that's because the guys running Iowa Interstate know how to run a railroad. It's that simple. They're not a bunch of suits. They're not a bunch of suits chilling in the top of an office building, you know, giving money to their shareholders. These are guys. I mean, that's what I like about short line railroads. More often than not, you'll even have the owner or even founder of the company out there on the ground in the locomotives working with the other employees. And that's something that's something you never see with a Class 1 railroad anymore, anywhere. And to the Class 1s who see this, I hope you prove me wrong. No. I'll put it bluntly.
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
No, I'll be blunt right now. To any Class 1 railroad that sees this stream, no matter how unusual it is, us talking about railroads over Minecraft, I want you to prove me wrong. I want to see a CEO of one of these companies go out and join their workforce for about maybe 5 months tops. And I want to see what they think after experiencing everything from the ground boy's eyes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it happen with the short line too. For example, I've seen it happen with both the Reading and Northern and the Iowa Interstate because...
Well, Reading and Northern has been Reading and Northern has always been a railroad preservation thing as well as a freight railroad.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I actually got to meet the CEO of the Reading and Northern.
Andy Muller?
Because he was driving the 2102.
Oh yeah, Andy Muller, that 2102 is his pet engine. Right up there with 425.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I've also saw this. I also got to, the CEO of the Iowa Interstate actually got to drive one of the QJs as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, see, and that's the good thing about a short line railroad having its own steam locomotive, or any heritage equipment. It's good public relations, and really, I mean, it reminds me of the story that was related in the documentary about 4501, where one of the Claytor brothers asked a potential customer of Southern Railway to ride with the crew of 4501, and they agreed to start shipping with Southern Railroad. I think that same day. I mean, see that, and that's the positive of having heritage equipment. It's a good mascot for the company, and it pretty much brings great public relations. And in a way, it gives back. It pays stuff forward.
On a more positive note, I mean, they'll see it just only, like, I would say, like, 0.9%. Because apparently because of course Union Pacific still runs their heritage fleet, and the CEOs are, they feel involved in a little bit, but it's mostly Ed and the crew.
Well, I mean, to be honest, if you notice, they donated pretty much all the remaining stuff to Silvis. 4501 Black.
It was mostly the stuff they didn't really need
or use anymore.
Really need 5511.
Well,
I mean, handle 3985.
Well, no, it's not that they couldn't handle 3985. To be perfectly honest, 4014 was the larger and more well-known locomotive. Plus, in a way, 4014 would be a lot more manageable in terms of getting parts because, I mean, unlike 3985 that has one surviving sister out in the North Platte, 4014 has got 7 surviving sisters that all could have measurements and stuff taken for parts to be newly made, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because most of the parts, some people, they do have parts from the other big boys on it, but most parts were built from scratch. Those weren't like from taking off anything. They weren't bought anywhere. Those were all built from scratch. And that's the same thing with most steam locomotives these days have parts built from scratch because, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and really, not only do you have to make new parts for the locomotives, you actually have to make new parts for the machines that were used to maintain them. Like, I've seen where the museum up in Silvis actually had to rebuild a steam era piece of equipment from scratch because, you know, it was just worn out. And I know at the Roundhouse Road Museum in Savannah, I looked in an empty warehouse building on the property and I saw a decent sized wheel lathe just sitting in there, unused. I mean, if they were to sell that right now, they would make a lot of money from that.
Because that's a very rare piece.
Yeah, it's a very rare piece of equipment.
Was it in good condition? Was it in good condition too?
I don't remember. I think I was filming at the time, and I think I showed it on video, but I don't know as to whether or not it was in good condition. It was kept inside, but it did have some visible rust and age on it. But, I mean, if you disassembled it, cleaned it up, greased it up, it might run, but I would recommend rebuilding it if you could.
Yeah,
but
that's most likely it would.
I mean, I'll say this, though. I mean, Roundhouse Railroad Museum was another place where you could see an operational steam engine in Georgia, but the track amount was greatly reduced. I know when I visited it for the first time around 12 or so years ago, they had the engine running, and they had talked about having plans for rebuilding a lot of the trackage on site so the engine could run longer. But that just, I don't think that ever happened.
I feel bad for the organization that they don't really have a short list because they
What?
need them.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. What were you saying?
Like, remember bringing back up the where Team Locomotives Camp, like organization. That's I've seen it issue.
Train boy. I don't want to alarm you, but I think your supposedly new mic is failing you because you're breaking up really bad. Oh, God. Ah! Here's my advice. You might want to check your soundboard settings and just remove the national anthem because I think there's a way to remove it off of your thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
I mean, going back to the whole thing regarding short lines,
Oh, there it is. Yep.
I mean, going back to the whole short line thing, and going back to the Bishop to Madison branch, you know, I think one way they could reopen it partially would be to, you know, stabilize the track enough to where you could run like maintenance of way speeders or rail bikes on the right of way. That would be a good start to reopening it, because a railroad museum in Griffin tried that until about 2012, I think. They've since started reopening the line again, but it's been very slow going due to everyone involved having, you know, their own stuff they need to do. That's a tall birch tree.
Remember when you told me that?
Hang on. You may want to speak up a bit, because I still can't hear you. You're not breaking up. You're just very muffled.
Is that where?
It's a little better. But no, what I was going to say is, as far as, you know, the Bishop to Madison branch goes, I think it would be a very good tourist railroad, and it could be run similarly to how the operation in Cordele is run, the Sam Short Line, which runs from Cordele all the way to Plains and back. They could run an excursion train from Athens, like say Athens to Watkinsville, then Watkinsville to, and then, you know, from Watkinsville to Madison. And I think both towns would benefit from it, because Watkinsville has now got a lot of, you know, little shops and stuff opening up. Madison, it's always had little shops and local stuff opening up, stuff people like myself enjoy going to. And really, a tourist railroad linking Athens, Watkinsville, and Madison would probably be a very profitable venture for all three towns and the railroad operator. Plus, then, once the line's open for that service, then you could also open it up for freight or car storage, you know? And, I mean, the Hartwell Railroad originally did start out as a scenic railroad. They ran a tourist train, I believe, from, I think, the 70s until about the late 80s, I think. And it proved fairly successful, and the equipment for it still exists. I mean, all the passenger cars, for the most part, are still in Georgia on the Hartwell Railroad's property. I think it was 4 Erie Lackawanna electric cars, and then I think 4 Southern Railroad passenger cars, and 2 cabooses. Plus, there's also an old tank car that could be used as a water car if they had a steam engine again, which the locomotive they used actually is in Kentucky right now. But, you know, an alternative would be that locomotive they tried restoring in Macon, though that's, I think, failed. I think that failed a while ago, but I don't know. From what I was told, the 2 salvageable MU cars have now been stored inside the railroad shops. The 4 passenger cars, I think, have been parked in, I believe, Livonia for the last few years. I mean, they're still in decent condition. They're not in as bad a shape as the MU car in Hartwell, for instance. That thing, I'm sorry, but that thing and the caboose with it, they'd have to be scrapped. I mean, in all honesty, they're beyond saving. I think at most you'd be able to save parts. Like, to be honest, those 2 pieces of equipment could be scrapped out for parts, and then what's left could then be sent to a proper scrap dealer. The reason I say this is because I have walked through the MU car on 2 occasions, and each time I walked through it, its condition was even worse than the last time. I say this because well, like I said, I walked through the car twice, but I've been photographing it since 2018, and I've watched it and that caboose deteriorate to the point where now they're beyond saving. I mean, the caboose is caved in, the wood on it's rotting and collapsing, and the passenger car has at least around 3 to 4 holes in the floor. Three of the stairs have pretty much broken away from their frames due to rust. And, I mean, I've seen it has busted windows, rotted seats, missing light fixtures, likely busted wiring, exposed insulation that may or may not contain asbestos, though I'm not sure of it. I mean, that car, I mean, you'd be better off salvaging usable parts off of it to restore the two salvageable ones rather than trying to restore it. One thing I would say from that passenger car is the old MU controls that are still in it, because the cars were the cab cars for the electric commuter operations in New Jersey. They were the cab cars, and the car that's in Hartwell still has the Erie Lackawanna era controls in it for the pantographs, the lights, and pretty much everything else. The panel for it is still intact inside a kind of closet-like compartment. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility to save that. And I mean, that could easily be donated to some railroad organization in New Jersey that has a surviving example of that type of car, But as for the caboose, I mean, that would have to be scrapped. I mean, as far as the wood part, you'd have to disassemble the wood part and pretty much salvage all the metal stuff, like the flagpoles, the torpedo boxes, the coal stove, etc. All that can be salvaged. I mean, even the frame for that can be salvaged, but the wood part, I mean, I'm sorry, that's beyond saving.
Yeah, to be honest, it's really hard to restore a wooden caboose because, well, they deteriorate easily. I mean, there are some organizations, for example, the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society, who actually had success in restoring caboose. But the thing is, with their caboose, yeah, I gotta get off, but I have a jazz band.
You're good.
So,
well, good luck and enjoy the jazz.
oh, I will.
Speaking of interest, how... Whoa! Hectic Salamander, dude. How in the heck did you find me? Well, let me go to my house and teleport you there. It's getting dark. Thank you. But I'm not the one who made it. It's run by my friend Ribbit. Let me sleep real quick. I'll just say this. I'm amazed at just how you managed to find... Wait a minute. If you just got on the server, how in the heck did you manage to find find me from spawn, no less? I'm actually kind of concerned now. How? How did it take 20 minutes? Wait a minute. If it took... Oh dear. That's not good. That means we're still close to spawn. Oh dear. When you literally just start walking through the woods and just keep on walking. If you don't need that horse, I was going to say I could teleport you, but no, going back to the whole thing with the Bishop to Madison branch, as I was telling, Train Boy, if the Bishop to Madison branch can be reopened as a tourist line, freight line, or a mix of the two, it would be a very viable venture because, yeah, the line doesn't have any industry on it, but reopening it and upgrading it to a standard to run tourist trains and, freight trains up to maybe 25, 35, or at least 45 miles an hour, that would be a very, very good way to spur industrial development. And there are a few industries still dotting the old right-of-way that did used to formerly use the railroad. I know an old industry that's still semi-active in Bishop still has a rail spur to it. Whether or not it could still use rail, I don't know, but that's a possibility. And then UGA's heating plant. I know they no longer use coal for their boilers, but if they use natural gas, then that could be restored, and they could get at least maybe 1 or 2 natural gas tankers for their boilers, so they have maybe like a backup fuel supply in case, God forbid, they were to lose electrical power. And what in the Indiana Jones is this cave? I swear, this server's a death trap. But no, like, right now, in terms of the railroad status, from what I've been able to see walking bits of it myself, a lot of trees will have to be cleared first in terms of just getting the line clear for like a high rail truck to pass through. As far as track, all the rail will need to be completely removed and replaced from the ground up because, as I stated prior, the rail on it is over 100 years old in most cases, though some of it's as old as 60 or 70 years. At least for the parts that were used until the 90s or 2000s. From Farmington onward, I've found rail from 1901 to even around 1897 or 98. I mean, the line was that lightly used even back in the central of Georgia / southern days. Though from what I understand, the entire railroad from Athens, I think originally it was a bridge route to Savannah. So if they could get that entire line restored, then that could be a nice backup route for trains to get, from, say, Atlanta to Savannah. Would it be quicker? Well, I don't know. I really don't know. But at the same time, that would be something that could be considered. And Hectic Salamander, I'm going to just teleport you to me, so you may I'm going to just go on and tell you you're going to lose the horse, I'm afraid. But the reasons why I think the Bishop to Madison branch should be restored are pretty much tenfold. One, it could be a good way to bring tourism to Athens, Watkinsville, Bishop, Farmington, and Madison, and even Appalachia, if they want it. It'd be a good way to bring in some jobs for people who are interested in railroad history and local history and all that. And it would also be a good, instigator and driver for industry and economic development. The key is just making the railroad attractable for business. There's still multiple businesses in Athens that could still use rail service because a lot of them still have rail spurs leading up to their loading docks. All they have to do is be rebuilt and strengthened for modern rail cars in terms of weight. But after that, they're set. And plus, that gives you more space to store more rail cars, which equals more money for the short line. And really, since they all still have excursion equipment, that also makes it easier to restart that operation whenever they want. It just needs to be cleaned up. I mean, they still have 4 passenger cars that, with some work and a bit of cosmetic updating, could still be used, theoretically. The older equipment, the MU cars, though, that would take longer. And, technically, if you count the caboose, that's 5 cars that could be used. And they already got locomotives. They have a Chicago Northwestern engine that would attract rail fans. They got some Conrail units that would attract rail fans. They got a center cab that would attract rail fans. And they've got, I think, 2 or 3 Southern or ex-Norfolk Southern high hoods. among other rare motive power that you don't see much anymore. But yeah, I mean, the key first off is getting the trackage rebuilt in Athens. I mean, if they can get the trackage rebuilt in Athens, so where they can then start doing work on the line from there to Whitehall and Watkinsville and all that, then that would be a good start. But the other reason why I think the Bishop to Madison branch could prove viable in terms of a tourist aspect is it still goes through a part of rural Georgia. It's an area, the area around the railroad hasn't been encroached upon by urban sprawl or urban development to the point where it's lost its scenicness. A good example of this is the tourist railroad over in Kingsland. I forget the name of the railroad, but for a good portion of the ride, as much as I hate to say it, it's pretty much been entrapped by urban sprawl, and it's not necessarily the most scenic ride. It does cross over a marsh and whatnot, but it doesn't go any further than that. Now, could it? Well, yes. I mean, it could go further out into the marsh. I know there's a rail line from Kingsland that goes there, but I don't know if they'll use it, you know? But to be honest, I think the tourist thing is something they do on the side. Their main business is business like the Hartwell is freight. But yeah, right now the trackage from Watkinsville to the city limit of Madison is technically listed as out of service and has been so for the last 5 years. But again, the person I know who owns it does intend to revive it once everything in Athens is squared away and once other stuff is squared away. Though, again, I could be wrong, and if he wants to correct me, he can. But at the same time, if and when they're able to start reactivating all that, I do want to see if I can get involved, whether it be as a volunteer or an intern or whatever. And the reason I'd want to get involved as a volunteer is because I'm still interested in trains. That'll never change. But I don't want to do it for money, because then that takes the passion out of it, you know? That's the one reason I didn't want to join a Class 1 railroad, because the work environment is just, it's not what railroading used to be. It doesn't feel like genuine railroading. You're pretty much just told to get on the locomotive and more or less go where the suits tell you to go. With a short line, it's more personal. It's more face-to-face, you know? It's still where you'll find real railroaders and real railroading. That's something you really don't see anymore on a Class 1, since it's so corporatized. Save for maybe Genesee and Wyoming and R.J. Corman, of course, and a few other notable short line operators, but the ones that are huge but still have genuine railroading and people who will love that sort of thing under their belt. But anyways, I don't know where Hectic Salamander is. I offered to teleport him here, but he seems to have gone MIA, so oof. The one thing I am going to do is I'm going to get these eggs, and I'm going to try and bolster my chicken population. Oh, he's bringing the horse. Okay. Well, if you... Hello. Hello. Oh, hey, Kevin. How you doing? Oh, I see my friend Kyle's messaged me. I'll have to get back with him after the stream. Yeah, Hector, if you're watching this, the coordinates I have are pretty much on screen thanks to the map. As for my base, you know, if you need any supplies and whatnot, you're welcome to, you know, take whatever you need. But as for the other people's bases, you know, people I know on the server, it's best to leave them be. You know? But yeah, going back to the whole thing with the steam engines, I mean, look, a lot of guys are doing a lot of work to get these things back up and running. So the least the Class 1s or Amtrak could do is let them have a place to run. I mean, for instance, all of these rail-banked main lines through Virginia and whatnot that CSX and Norfolk Southern own, you know, I mean, that would be a very, very good place to run these excursions because since those lines primarily were for movement of coal trains, and since coal is slowly being phased out, those would be a great place to run steam, particularly the larger engines. Like I know the former Virginian Railway branch that's been rail banked through the heart of Virginia and West Virginia. That would be a good place to run engines like 611, 2716, CNO 614 if it gets brought back, etc., you know? Because you got the mileage, you got the trackage, and more importantly, you're not holding up any mainline freight trains. That's one of the reasons a lot of these railroads are so damn iffy about letting steam run. It's because they're worried it's going to get in the way of what makes them money. But here's the thing. Making money is fine. But PR, that determines whether or not you'll have long-lasting customers. Boat hole. Where are you? Oh, hey, over here. Oi! Hello, sir. You have arrived at my friend Dolphin Play's house. I don't remember who's building that. Come with me. Come with me, quick. Hello, how are you doing? Wait, what's your name on the stream, by the way? Are you Joey TD something or somebody else? Oh, Kaido, what's up, man? Oh, yeah, I see you, man. What's up? Yeah, hi. Come with me, I'll show you to the base. And I didn't realize Noobs Plays is on here. I didn't know he was watching the stream, so hey to you, man. Yeah, welcome to my... in the words of Jim Carrey and Lemony Snicket, and welcome to my humble abode. Here, let me get... yeah, don't open the gate. Don't open the gate. Thank you. Across the bridge is MC Steve's place. Ahead is Italic Glitter's base. Beyond that is my friend Lightning Squirrel's base. Over here is Prehistoric Liner's base. Behind that to the right is Jindrak's base. And over there is Anderson 14's base. So yeah, pretty much everybody I know. But yeah, my house, I think, is honestly the smallest of the bunch. And actually, I have a guest house. I just got to get some supplies for it. Let me see. Do I have some wool? I think I have some wool, don't I? No, it's not. The server is not full. It can hold about 15 or so players. Yeah, the Iron Golem is MC Steve's. I think it went through his portal and came back through mine. Whoops. Yeah, this is our own sort of community. It's nice, it's quiet. Why are you breaking? My friend, you don't need to break anything. Besides, stealing and griefing is banned on this server, and you can get banned for it. Unless, you know, the person gives you permission, which in my case I have. So if you need anything here... No, I know that. I know you weren't. The mining stuff, I wouldn't recommend touching that. That's stuff I use. But if you need anything like material, like for ores, that's there. For supplies, you got fill material here. Wood there. You got food here. Some seeds are here, up here in this chest. But if you come with me, I've got more seeds out in my farm area if you need them. Yeah, right here. And the seeds, you can access them through here with the barrels. And that's bone meal. Yeah, right here. But yeah, if you want to take some seeds here, feel free. I put all my extras out here in case people want to get any for their respective farms out here. I literally tell you can get seeds and you just waste it on bone meal. Don't mind me, that's just stupidness. Yeah, here, let me give you some wheat seeds, some beetroot, carrots. I'm giving you 32 each. Ah, nuts. I'll worry about that later, it's fine. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed my TED Talk for the day. Sorry that it got into a straight-up rant. That was never my intention. And before you ask, I'm dead serious about that. Yeah, this here is the mill I'm building for my mine, which, if you'll come through here, is actually quite extensive. Watch this. Yeet. Ah, crap. Let me try that again. There we go. Yeah, I really don't have anywhere close to build anymore, but since this little flat spot is in my sort of territory, seeing as Lightning built a wall, I think you'd be okay to build in this little spot if you wanted to. I don't know what he's going to do with the statue, but I'm almost tempted to ask him if he would be willing to move it back a bit, but anyways. Yeah, if you wanted to build right in here, you could, but, I mean, if you want, I could try to maybe find another spot. Here, hang on. Here, let me... Hector, or Kaido, whichever you want to be preferred. Meh. Sorry. I didn't know how to get your attention. Take this, take that, and that, and that. Take these, and I'll be right back with a bed so you can set your spawn. And I'll try to get you some stone tools or iron tools, whichever you prefer. If you need any building supplies, let me know, because I can get you that too if you want, unless you want to get your own stuff, but... If you do cut any, I will say this, if you cut any trees down in the area that I've got my little forest and whatnot in, just be sure to replant, alright? There's that. Let me get him some wood. You know what? I'm not using the cherry log. I'm not using those. I'm not using these. And I can use trapdoors so you can get over the fence. Got a sign I'm not using. I've got oak stuff I'm not using. What else do I have that he can use? I'm not using those. I'm not using any of this. Got a birch sapling you can use. I got some sugar cane you can use. Do I have melon seeds? I'm not using that, so you can use that. Let me see. What else can he use? Oh, bamboo, obviously. Everybody needs bamboo. What else? What else? What else? What else? Ah, melons. There we go. Yoink. Yoink. And yoink. Gonna plunk these in, make melon seeds. There we go. Let me see. I'll make him a bow so he can defend in some way. Along with some arrows, because why not? If you guys are curious why I'm being so generous, it's simple. It's because it's the right thing to do. Alright? That's literally it. See, do I have some coal? Yeah, good, perfect. That's exactly what I need. Habba-da-bep, habba-da-bep. There we go. Oh my god. Alright, I gotta make sure to look over some things. When in doubt, drink water. And in case you're curious as to my grip strength, check this out. And that, my friends, is how you compress a 16 or so ounce water bottle into a palm-sized thing in less than a second. No bottle or can crusher needed. Alright, there's that. And you know what? Let me go on and make him a furnace and a cooker, because that's the... Well, actually, you know what? I gave him 2 stacks of cobblestone. He might be able to craft that, right? Surely. And he can use those for arrows, I think, right? Let me see. Do I have leads? Yeah, I got leads. Perfect. Alright, I got leads. I can use that to get him some farm animals from my place to his. Oh my god, it's night. Time to sleep. I'm kind of phased in the wall. Alright, that's fun. Anyways. Oh, well, that's fun. Habba-da-bep, habba-da-bep. Habba-da-bep, 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 habba-da-bep. Oh. So, Hector, what are you building at the moment? Are you trying to make, like... What were you trying to make, if you don't mind me asking? Oh yeah, also there's a clear lag thing. I just want to warn you about that. Well, I get that. I'm just curious. I'm going to build a fence around this. Oh. How big of a house were you wanting to build? I mean, I would think... I mean, to be honest... If you build a smaller house, you'll still have room for whatever you want to use, and it won't cost you as much material, you know? Oy. My word, man. I'll say this. If you're gonna build a house this big, that's... I don't know. I mean, to be honest... It might be too big, but as for, you know, maybe your build area, I mean, I could see the house being in the middle of it, or say, maybe in front here overlooking the forest area. Okay, yeah, well, if this is just the yard, then this should be good. And really, let's see. I mean, if the house is right in this area here, right? Technically, you could have the yard go all the way over here, you know, along this. I actually got you some fencing, so if you want, I can go on and build the boundaries for you. Oh, and also, I have a few other things for you. Look here. Here. I got you a birch sapling, so I can plunk that down right there for right now. I've got you sugarcane. Here, actually, do you want to craft everything, or do you want me to... Oh, hell, you know what? I'll save you some trouble. Here's that. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna need that. Now look here. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Merry Christmas, my friend. Now, the iron, that's for making tools. The cobblestone, that could be for the foundation of the basement. Brick could be for corners. The logs, well, yeah. And let me see. Let me go check my supplies. I might have a few birch saplings laying around, and I think in my little, like, fishing cabin up here, I've got some spruce stuff I can get you, too. So let me go and get that. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah, and thank you for replanting the birch tree, by the way. That helps. Yeah, I've actually never logged the little forest area I've made ever since I made it. Can I get this with silk touch? Yes, I can. Perfect. Let me see. Didn't I? Yeah, here we go. I figured I had some of this stuff laying around. Yeah, and this house can easily be converted into a small starter base. All you really have to do is remove this scaffolding and then get a bed and put it in here, and then you're set. I meant for that to be a tiny village-sized, you know, this was meant to be a starter base for, like, you know, like something you'd see in a village. You could just convert a little village hut into a small starter base around this size. It's very easy to do. It's cramped, but it gets the job done. Oh, by the way. Oh God, I didn't mean to do that. By the way, I just realized I had a beehive on one of my cherry blossom trees. So I'm bringing you both that and a bee if you wanted to get some honey stuff. Oh, that's a nice little dock. Though I'll go on and tell you, you're not really going to be able to use it much. Yeah, but that's just me, I guess. I'm going to put the beehive... Hang on. Here, I'm going to put the beehive over here on this azalea. Right there. There we go. Oh, wait. I just realized the mistake here. Let me put it... There we go. Now I can put a campfire under that so you don't have to worry about getting stung by the bees. So how big of a house are you going to build? I mean... Oh. Do you have any dimensions for it? If you don't mind me asking. Also, do slash set home space home or rail or something. That way, if you die or explore, you can always get back, You mind if I help real quick? Because maybe I can come up with something. See, that's 2, 3, you see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here, hang on a minute. Hang on a second. Do you mind? Let me try something. Actually, you know what? Forget I said anything. You're fine. I just don't want you to accidentally make it so big that, you have a lot of empty space, Here, let me see something for a second. Here, wait a minute. I gave you iron, remember? Bonk. 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 Now, if you need to go mining, I would advise potentially waiting on me to come with you, because I genuinely have a lot of tunnels down in the main mine, some of which do go into areas with active mobs. Also, I gave you some iron tools if you want them. The other two are in the chest. I was able to make an axe, a pickaxe, and a shovel. Hang on a minute. Hectic, or Kaido, whichever you prefer to be called, is the house going to have a slight porch on the front? Because if you were going to have the doorway here, that's going to be a bit meh. Oh, this is the back porch. What about the front? So, hang on, if I may... Oh, wait a minute. I can go... Hang on, did you get any, Hang on, Hectic. Did you get any other birch saplings? Oh, not the azalea. Oh, well. Here, hang on. I planted the trees so close together that you're going to have to break some stuff away for a little bit. There we go, there we go. Here, let me plant that back for you. Yeah, I always liked the azalea trees. Funnily enough, I made the, Wait, where did you go? Oh, no. Yeah, I made this forest area as a kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say wildlife preserve around here. But all I ask is if people log it, just be sure to replant everything so everything grows back, I'm going to have to trim a new path through here now. But here, if you get any saplings, which I would recommend waiting to get when these drop, like that. Yeah, also, you got to make sure you get everything, otherwise clear lag will delete it. I just wanted to go on and point that out. That's one reason I'm trying to scramble to go to the other trees. Let's see, I've got one oak sapling and then one normal azalea sapling. Scratch that, 2 oak saplings. But yeah, listen, Kaido, I can plant, if you want, I can go on and plant these saplings on your property here, and they should be able to grow in for you to cut them down. That way you don't have to get everything from the main forest, I guess. I also have these spruce trees here. Also, you, real quick, you kind of left this underneath here. Oh my god, my OCD is going to be screaming at me for this. Oh, scaffold, lol. Yeah, that's another reason I got the bamboo. If you're able to get string, that can be used for scaffolding, I think. So yeah, if you break that and get some string, you can make proper scaffold if you want. So I guess this will be the main entrance here, where all the chests and stuff are, right? You know, I will go on and say, now you just broke your only exit. Yeah, you might want to just wait for a minute. You know, Hector, I think you could do a proper, like, you know, if you want, I can maybe, what do you call it, my brain? I can fence in this sort of curved area here, and I can make that into a farm for you if you want, for your crops. Let me see. Uh-oh. Sleep! Sleep quick! Phantoms! No! Ha ha! Burn, baby, burn! Disco Inferno. Yeah, don't mind the random trees just growing into your house. Yeah, don't mind the random trees just kind of growing up into your house. It's perfectly normal, I assure you. It's standard operating procedure. Let me see. There might be... Oh, Lord, let me go check. I might have stolen stuff you can use, and let me get a thing for some other stuff. That's one good thing about playing for so long. You ultimately end up with a ton of stuff you really don't need anymore. Like, for instance, I don't need that. I don't need that. And I don't need those furnaces, so he can make those into blast furnaces. I don't need that iron, because I've already got a lot of that saved up. Let me see. What else do I not need? What else do I not need? I don't know. Oh, Lord, until I get the mob farm rebuilt, I've got to save the string. No offense or buts about that. I don't need those. I'll get him some more fencing. Why not? And another trapdoor. Yeah, I'm putting my remaining explosives in the mining chest, in the mining shulker. Oh, wow. Huh. So, if you don't mind me asking, what is this little spot going to be right here? Lol. Well, I got you some coal you can use, and I've got you 2 normal furnaces, but if you wait, you can craft, but if you wait and smelt some of the cobblestone, you can make these into blast furnaces. And I also got you some more raw iron that I had in my reserves and some more fencing, so you can do a animal pen or, you know, food pen, whatever, in this general spot. But it is getting late for me, so I'm probably going to be going in a bit. Oh, also, I got you some other sticks and some water. Yeah, but Hectic, as for my base, if you need anything from there, you're welcome to use what I'm not using, but in terms of other stuff, I would just, in terms of everyone else's stuff, just leave it be, alright? What was saying? Just so people know. There we go. That way people don't ask questions. Let me see. I might be able to get a little farm going for you if you'd like. Do you still have the seeds I gave you? Because you might want to put them in the chest so Clearlag doesn't get them. I'm also going to I'm going to plunk this sweetberry bush down. Be careful because you will take damage from it. Okay, I'll get that. I'll get that. I'll get that. Let me see. I think I had a bunch of sand I got from my sand mine out in the desert somewhere. So, yeah, I can get you some glass with that. Also, you're about to have 4 stones, so you can get some stone brick, which is right now. And actually, let me see. Maybe I can make you a stone cutter or something. Let me see. I forget. What does that need? Anyway, there we go. Yeah. So I used the last usable ingot you had to make you a stone cutter. But look here. I'm going to just plunk this down right here. So now, when you get a brick, stone brick, you can use, it gets, yeah, now look. Watch this. Put this piece of stone in right here. Look. Oh. Hang on, you're making a basement? Huh, I guess he is. Okay. One thing I am going to do now is I'm going to move his stuff further up. Kaido, I'm just letting, my brain, I hate when my brain does this. Hey, Kaido, I'm just going to let you know I'm moving your stuff onto the house, alright? So, in terms of the bed, you're going to want to reset your spawn in a second. I just wanted to let you know. I'm just letting you know so you don't end up, getting lost. I'm also going to do this. There's that. Alright. Alright. Let me guess. Basement? Yep. Oh, I didn't know. Ah, God. Well, now I'm trapped. Congratulations. Yeah, use the shovel, my friend. Let's see, I'm going to go on and make that farm I was talking about. I guess my study period has... Hey, Kevin, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was about to say this. Not say this me. Coincidence? I did die.
Oh my God. Oh God! This shovel, I swear. Okay, I swear this shovel has way more power to it. Well, the good thing is I haven't terraformed this yet, so I guess it was bound to happen sooner or later, so it's no big deal. Hey, you may want to set your spawn real quick. It's getting dark. Oh, now that's smart. That's very smart, yeah. Though there is one little issue using your using half slabs, though, and that's the fact that underground it's gonna look a bit, it's gonna look a bit like this. If you want to see what I've done with basement stuff, you're welcome to look at my house for reference if you want. Oh look, some of your trees grew in, by the way. One of your oak trees and one of the spruce trees grew in, so if you wanted to use different types of wood, you're set. Let me see, I'm going to get some more dirt from my house and I'm going to terraform some of his land by the lake so he has enough room for a farm like this and the animal farm. Horse starter. Interesting. know, I'm almost debating on trying to give this whole little community I've created with all these friends of mine a name. I just don't know what I'm going to be calling it. I'm going to plant this tree over here, so it's going to be decorative. Yeah, so this azalea tree I just put here, this flowering azalea, that's going to be decorative. But all the trees in his lot here, they're meant to be cut down and logged and whatnot. Also, Kaido, if you look at... Could you come here real quick? Because I actually terraformed a little bit for you, so... You have some more farmland over here, if you look over here. Yes, I terraformed this a bit, so you'll have enough room for, say, you know, produce farm over here, and then you could divide it off and have an animal farm beside the house, or vice versa. You know, if you wanted the the plant farm to be here and the animal farm to be there, you know, I've made it so there's some room for it. And I was actually going to put some... fencing in for this if you wanted me to go on ahead and do that. Are you okay with that? Alright, well that'll help. There can be a gate right here. Or alternatively, a trapdoor. Here we go. Oh, wait. No, I just realized. If I put the fence right here, the animals will get out just by jumping up. That ain't going to work. Whoops. However... gates right here will prevent that, and a trapdoor will work even better than that. So I'm going to put a trapdoor in so, you know, if Kaido wants, he can get his animals in or out, or, you know, alternatively, meh. Oh, crud, I just missed those saplings, didn't I? Dang. Oh, well. I think the plant farm would be better over here because then it's a straight shot. And the animal farm could be where the fence curves. Yeah, there we go. So this can be the animal pen here. Since it's all gated off, all he has to do now is add a gate there. And then this can be the proper farm. So then all he has to do now is extend the fence where I left off. Oh, and of course, light it up so there's no mobs coming in here and ruining his crops. Hello, sir. How are you doing? Oh, God! Well, yeah, nice start to the place so far. You know, I could see this being a kind of stairwell area of the house. You got one going down on one side and one going up on the other. But yeah, I don't know if you heard me on the stream, Kaido, but, oh, hello. Lol. Why the Alamo? I don't get it. I'm afraid I don't get what you're talking about, Kaido. I mean, I know what the Alamo is. It was a famous battle in Texas at, well, the Alamo. But still. Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't know how much you wanted fenced in, so I'm pretty much just, well, you'll see the fence. You'll laugh. Alright, I'm gonna put the fence where the birch is. There we go. And that's it. Now, not all of this is going to be for... yeah, so all of this could be like a front yard / farmland. So, like, for instance, this could be the yard, right? So then through here, where his compost barrel is now conveniently stuck under a spruce tree, ironically enough. Yeah, this could then be the farm area right here. Yeah, now be sure to get the saplings, otherwise, you know, Clear Lag will drop them and that will be bad. Case in point. Hang on. Oh, no. Yo, Kaido. Wait a second. Wait a minute. You might want to put that sand back. I've got plenty of sand stored right now. I forgot to get it. I'm sorry. I'll be back. I'll get it. And I'll sleep too, so the, you don't have to worry about mobs. Why it's not working? Oh, that's right. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna sleep. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there it is. I thought I had some sand laying around. It's a literal sandbox. Though, as you can tell, it's also for TNT production, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyways, you yeet, you yacht, you yart. Now I'm going to just get some fencing made. Now I'm going to get some, what do you call it? My brain. You get what I mean, folks. You get what I mean. Now, I didn't know where the front of his house is going to be, so I'm just going to break a thing out for that. I'm going to get his saplings so he doesn't lose that. And I'm going to chop down this other oak tree here, because... There we go. There's that. So then now he'll get some saplings from that. Okay, so there's going to be a gate here for the farm. For the, what do you call it? The, garden area. This will be the animal pen here, hence the door. There's going to be gates here for that, plus a trapdoor so you can get in without letting the animals out, risking letting the animals out. Dear God, there's so many saplings. Were you, what, hang on, what log were you using for this? Was it oak? Was it an oak log here? How tall were you going to make this? Ah, I see. Oh, 3 high, okay. You know, this is actually turning out to be a nice base. And you know, this could also count as a skylight down to the basement if you wanted. Yeah, I've got 4 oak logs on me, but I'm going to turn them into planks so that I can make them into gates. Ow. But yeah, if you want to mine, just go to the mine I've got where the mill is. Because then, you know, you can use that for whatever you need. Oh no, I missed the apple, dang it. Oh well. Rip. Rip to the apple, I guess. Oh well. So there's those gates. Let me see here. So now this just leaves the farm gates. There we go. That's it. So now all the fencing's done. Oh, now this here is smart. Only trouble, the reason I used... You'll laugh though, the reason I used a door was in case mobs spawn, hostile mobs spawned in the animal farm. That way they wouldn't be able to shoot in, you know? Huh. Now what's that going to be? Is this going to be an interior wall here, or... Oops. I fell in again. Oh god. I'm falling all over the place. Yeah. Kaido, if you wanted to, if you need to mine anything, you know, like stone and stuff, I do have a mine. The mine that I have in the middle of all this is public. I don't mind if you mine in it. Just be sure to not damage anything. Yeah, and I'm also moving everything so so that I can start work on the farm. I used them to make planks, but there is saplings I can plant. Well, listen, the house and all should be fine. Well, I mean, I also named the house so that if anybody does ask, well, they'll know. Oh, and I'm planting one bamboo so you can have at least something to restock your supply with. Let me see here. Gonna move this further back so it's away from the road. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna do his farm and then I'm gonna head off. Also, if you have any, yeah, let me see if there's any half slab. There's no half slabs. Okay. I was gonna say I'm gonna use half slabs to cover the water up, but usually it'll be okay regardless. It's no good, so it's no big deal. Ah, crap! I'm having to play essentially Russian roulette with this. Now with this, you're going to probably want to make... and now the farm is not going to be very big, but if you want to extend it back into like the yard, then you can. Because then you'll have more room. I need a piece of cobblestone here. Oh, so you want to make sure to keep the sapling. Do you have 2 cobblestone by chance? Thank you, sir. I needed those to make a hoe for the farm. Why'd you move your bed over here? Weird. Trying to go at ludicrous speed, so I don't care if the hoe breaks. I'm doing this just to till the ground for right now, before the server restart takes effect. Okay, there's beetroot. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, wheat, that's going to need to be the most for bread. So that's 6 bread. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, dang, there it goes. Well, that's it. I guess that's it then. It restarts every few minutes, too. I forgot to mention that. Ripperino. Alright, once this thing restarts, I'm going to go and finish the farm, and then I'm going to head off. Yeah, I'm sorry for the whole beginning of this stream being just a rant regarding railroads and stuff, but to be honest, while I'm annoyed at the government and the corporations and all, I mean, I'm mad at what they've chosen to do, but they could choose to do better, you know? They really could all do better. Much better. Because, you know, eventually, you know, if they keep doing what they're doing, everyone else is going to get to where they don't care. Or get to where, I mean, I'll put it bluntly, if they keep doing what they're doing, then they're going to go, everybody's going to get real mad and then start taking matters into their own hands. Ow. Okay, there we go. Oh, well, that's convenient. So this right here should give him enough bread for a while. Oh, crud. I didn't get the potatoes. I don't think... He didn't give me the potato, I don't think. Oops. Oh well. Got obsidian. Don't know how you got that. Okay, I'm going to start with 30 of these and see if I have enough. Because right now the key is to make sure I don't mess up the crops. Who's RVPS? I don't know who that is. There we go. That way he can at least get in and out without damaging the crops. Alright, let me see here. I gotta go back to my base to get some supplies, and then I should be set. I'm gonna just run down here to my farm to get some supplies for his, and then I should be good. Huh. I'll tell you something, for a custom-built house, this actually looks like it's going to be quite impressive. Alright, so there's enough for bread, but I'm going to plant one more row. Well, actually, no, I need carrots, don't I? So I need to make more half slabs, and then the farm should be complete and fully grown by the time he comes back. Oh. Speaking of fully grown, that was just perfect comedic timing right there. Maybe not Buster Keaton level, but that was still funny. It's like, speaking of fully grown, dang tree just became fully grown. That's funny. Alright, let's see. I'm going to put the spare melon seeds there. Actually, I just realized something I could do here. I can make a tiny farm. Maybe along the front here? I don't know. Well, the good news is now I could potentially make the remaining spruce planks I have into slabs, and then he can use that tree to replenish them, I think. There we go. Now this should be more than enough, I would think. Surely, right? Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. So now he can use the slabs for something else if he wants. Why did I do that? And there we go. Farm's done. That didn't take long. And he could even make a smaller plot right here for like melons and miscellaneous stuff. You know, like bamboo if you wanted. I'm going to plunk that out too and replant it elsewhere. So there is all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. I'm sorry nothing came up in Oakville, but again, that's dependent on me and Thunderbolt's schedules. So I think this is a good stopping point for tonight. So I'm gonna get some rest, and as far as studying goes, I'll probably do that tomorrow morning when I get to the college. So yeah, I will see y'all later. Railroad Preserver 2000 out.